Hey there, Pisces rising signs of the zodiac. This is your astrology for the month of May. I'm Cosmically 101. Trust you're doing well. Before we get into it, when I mean get into it, I'm talking about when we talk about the planets in transits for the month of May. We need to know what your ruling planet is doing in the month. So, Jupiter is still transiting in Gemini in your fourth house. So Jupiter in Gemini in your fourth house of privacy, home, family, and parents. Parenting, how you parent yourself in Gemini. And Jupiter is staying put this month, and the Sun and Mercury are going to be joining your ruling planet Jupiter in the month of May because they are both ingressing into your fourth house. So that indicates for you in the month of May that you've got a little stellium happening for you, Pisces rising. And a stellium is when three or more celestial bodies, planets, are in a zodiac sign. And we are not taking anything from the meaning of the planets in a zodiac sign away when we're talking about a stellium. It indicates with the stellium that the topics and subjects of that particular house become louder like megaphones. They're already megaphones because the fourth house is an angular part of your natal chart. When you have any natal planets, like your birth chart or a progressed moon or progressed sun, whatever planet is on an angular part of your chart, like your fourth house, they're like megaphones. They're significant. And transiting planets are super significant when they're in an angular part of your natal chart. So that's house 1, house 10, house 7, and house 4. So those topics and subjects of home, family, parents, foundation, privacy, security becomes really focused for you in the month of May. And we're going to be talking about the planets and their alignments in this video for you and what that means. So it's like a little footnote letting you know that your focus is heavily invested in the fourth house of doing things in private and trying to create, if you will, some sort of structure and order. So when you do rest at the end of the day, wherever you may lay your head, there is a sensation of comfort and security and stability with this transit. So very interesting for you, Pisces rising, with your avatar Jupiter transiting in the fourth house and a stellium happening as well. Okay, so that's your little footnote. That's where you're focused. Now let's talk about the other busyness of the planets in transits in the month of May for you and what it means to be a rising sign. Let's go. From the 4th of May until the 13th of October, Pluto's retrograding in Aquarius in your 12th house. So you'll be finding the blessings, if you will, Pisces rising, of taking time to yourself with this transit. You'll be more invested in creating more space and freedom in isolation and in solitude from the 4th to the 13th of October. And the significance of this will become really obvious to you. So you may have experienced, if you will, a harder time to disengage from the world, but now Pluto's retrograding from the 4th to the 13th of October. I think you're going to be proactively engaging in taking yourself out of the busyness and activity of your day-to-day life. And there's a wealth of benefit in that. It means you can rejuvenate. You can go into different spaces, be it physically, spiritually, mentally, or psychologically, that provide a sense of freedom and liberation and space for you to just drop into you without distraction. So it's a really helpful transit from the 4th to the 13th of October with Pluto retrograding in Aquarius. Time to create your own sacred space. From the 5th to the 7th, we've got Venus sextiling retrograde Pluto, and we've got your ruling planet Jupiter sextiling Mercury. 5th to the 7th, I think you're all on board, if you will, to step out of the limelight. So this could be a couple of days of a quick getaway, spa treatment, doing something just for yourself from the 5th to the 7th of October and May. So it might be just what you order just for yourself, time to do you. So shutting down any communication and taking yourself out of the mundane. You're all on board with learning to create healthy boundaries for yourself from the 5th to the 7th of May. Okay, so while the pace of life just keeps on giving, the gift that keeps on giving, the pace of the everyday life, on the 10th until the 26th of May, Mercury is going to be transiting in Taurus in your third house. So a lot of intel and communication is happening here from the 10th to the 26th when it comes to siblings, travel and education topics. So if you have been waiting for a moment to take a deep breath and settle yourself into a new educational path or setting a travel destination plan in stone, this looks beneficial from the 10th to the 26th to commit, make an agreement, and it's certainly going to benefit your home life in some way, shape, or form as well, because Mercury rules that fourth house where your ruling planet Jupiter is. And Mercury is going to be zooming into Gemini from the 26th of May. So any deals or negotiations that is happening from the 10th to the 26th is going to have a reverberation and an impact on your home life and your family life and significant relationships. So read the fine print, watch what you do in regards to rushing in quickly to make a decision to collaborate with someone, is it certainly does have a gravitas because Taurus is all about the long term. So look before you leap is the astrological advice on the 10th to the 26th of May. On the 12th, we have our first lunation of the month. We have a full moon in Scorpio, and this is at 22 degrees. And this full moon is all about all or nothing. Scorpio is a zodiac sign that is about all or nothing. Go hard or go home. Scorpio is in it. It's committed. It fixates on what it loves with intense passion. So this intense passion and what you fixate on connected to your ninth house of travel, higher education, your spiritual beliefs and philosophies on life, foreigners and foreign places is on full display on the 12th of May. So if you're an advocate, if you will, for things that are bigger than the self, then this is where you're really going to start passionately expressing your views with reckless abandonment on the 12th of May. Mercury is squaring off with retrograde Pluto also at the time of this first lunation of May, indicating that there could be some tension, financial or social tensions in your local environment that's almost feels like it's rubbing up against your sense of joy regarding stepping out of the limelight. So if you have been intensely and passionately pursuing things that are bigger than the self, spiritually, physically, metaphysically, psychologically, with the ninth house topics of expansion and things that are foreign to you, things that are bigger than the self, then there'll be no bars held on the 12th of May when it comes to you passionately expressing yourself. And also, this full moon can also have some really good moments of personal goals being reached, because Scorpio, apart from being a zodiac sign that is intensely passionate and fixates on what it's love and all or nothing, it's got this energy and reputation for being a hard worker. So you may get an accolade or some sort of achievement, success acknowledged on this day on the 12th regarding that ninth house topics of growth and expansion through travel, higher education, spiritual practices, foreigners and foreign places. So that's also a big possibility, Pisces rising. So I think congratulations is in order. But with Mercury squaring off with retrograde Pluto, it just could be some tension around you, financial tension or intellectual tension. So crossed wires that make you feel like you're not being heard in some way, shape, or form can also be quite frustrating. Alignment at the same time when you're having a beautiful full moon in Scorpio, where it's like, yes, I've done it. I've done the hard work and here's the rewards. Interesting day. On the 20th, so 8 days we've got between the full moon and the 20th of May. There's not a lot of activity with the planetary alignments from my perspective. But from the 20th, the sun is now ingressing into Gemini, joining your ruling planet Jupiter in the fourth house for 4 weeks. So you're trying to create some sort of system and structure in your day-to-day life regarding your home and your sanctuary. And then the sun steps in, really kicking up the spirit to give you a lot of illumination, if you will, on some different paths that you can take regarding creating more structure and solid foundations for yourself, and especially with real estate and property and with parents. So this helps you because the sun is always a helpful planet. The luminary is all about the consistency necessary to get something done and get something settled. So this bodes well for you feeling a little more, for better words, settled in your home and in what you deal with in privacy when the sun is transiting in Gemini for 4 weeks from the 20th of May to the 20th of June. So enjoy that transit. Just when you think you're on the right path and you know what's going on and you feel quite certain about making moves in your environment with education, travel, or with siblings, a curveball just comes out of nowhere and it's like a monopoly board being thrown up in the air. You did not see this one coming. Something that's familiar to you takes a hard left turn, and it's something that is very hard to see coming because Mercury conjunct Uranus is that change of mind that is almost completely unsettling. So watch for well-laid plans to come to a screeching halt on the 24th of May. We also have on the 24th of May, Saturn ingressing into Aries, into your house of livelihood, finance, and assets. With Saturn in Aries, Saturn is fantastic at creating structure and discipline to take your time in building things that sustain you for the long term. So this is about Saturn helping you being more mature, more deliberate in not hemorrhaging your energy in too many different spaces when it comes to potentially building wealth for yourself. Saturn is great in Aries for identifying where there's just too much movement and activity with what's coming in and out of your checking account. You need to streamline now. Saturn's going to help you get a handle on your finances and your livelihood and your assets and possessions when he ingresses into Aries, into your second house on the 24th of May. Okay, so moving on to the 26th of May, this is where we see Mercury ingress into Gemini, into its own zodiac sign. So Mercury rules the zodiac sign of Gemini and Virgo, your fourth and seventh houses. So Mercury is coming home, if you will, into Gemini, into your fourth house, joining your ruling planet Jupiter and the Sun. So Mercury will be in Gemini from the 26th of May until the 8th of June, another really fast transit for Mercury. So what does this mean if we listen to astrology? Go, wow, why is Mercury flying through? Because Mercury is at its peak speed now. It's traveling really, really fast. And for that matter, so is Venus. Okay. So Mercury going back into its own zodiac sign of Gemini, where it couldn't be more comfortable in your fourth house. This indicates that there is plenty of stimulus to keep you engaged in private and in your home life and within the family unit. So if you need to take a break from your worldly demands of work and being with friends and being out in the community, with Mercury here in the fourth house, it almost feels like you're ready to be at home more and you're enjoying being in solitude and doing things in private with Mercury in Gemini in your fourth house. So this could be like social events in the home, parties in the home, trivia nights in the home, researching about ancestry, maybe researching for new homes, putting your home on the market, looking at real estate deals. Fantastic transit with Mercury in Gemini. So you really enjoy being stimulated at home and in private with Mercury in Gemini in your fourth house from the 26th of May until the 8th of June. Enjoy that. The next day on the 27th, there's a new moon in Gemini. This one's at 6 degrees. And a new moon forebodes a new beginning. So it could be a new environment, or you just feeling that you are organically connected with being more sedate and being a homebody on the 27th with a new moon in Gemini in your fourth house. Mercury, the ruler, on the same day of this new moon is trining retrograde Pluto in Aquarius, indicating the love of doing things in isolation and behind closed doors. So if you're ready to relocate or just have more downtime and be okay with not being so active, this new moon may see you setting new rules on yourself from the 27th of May regarding, I don't need to be so on. I'm going to make my home life my sanctuary. I'm really going to get into being more of a homebody. Looks beautiful on the 27th of May with a new moon in Gemini and Mercury trining retrograde Pluto. On the 30th, Mercury is conjuncting the Sun. Really interesting day. So when you have Mercury and the Sun conjunct, this is the Cassimi point of the relationship between the Sun and Mercury. So the Mercury is in the heart of the Sun. So this day can be intellectually heightened. So watch for pennies to drop, information to drop, financial opportunities, social gatherings out of nowhere just come onto your radar on the 30th of May. Whilst it may be overwhelming, it also indicates that there is a love and a spirit going on the 30th of May that has you feeling quite homey than you probably have been for quite some time, Pisces rising. That's your astrology for the month of May. I trust you have yourself a wonderful month. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any astrological inquiries about my services, I can be contacted at cosmically101@protonmail.com. Till next time, Pisces rising, stay cosmic.